If you're interested in learning to write your own music, one of the first decisions you're going to have to make is decide which chord progressions you want to form the basis of your song. If you are a piano beginner or early on in your piano journey and you don't know much about chords and how to pick them, there are a few ways that you can get started. First is you can look for recommendations from other musicians. YouTube is a great place for this. There are so many musicians and music educators who have videos on their favorite chord progressions, and they will demonstrate them for you and give you lots of just different suggestions to try out. So if that sounds fun for you, then look up chord progressions to try out on piano, and I'm sure the algorithm will find something good for you and send it your way. The other way that you can get started is to learn a little bit more about how chords work so that you can choose chords that are a little bit more tailored to the emotions that you want to express in your music. And that's where I would like to help you today. I find that there is less of this kind of instruction on YouTube teaching you how to choose chords, and that's the thing that I'd like to help you with today. In my experience as a piano teacher, I find that this challenge of learning how to figure out chords by yourself has two different stages or phases to it. Phase one is learning which chords are even available to us in any given key signature. The second stage is once we know which chords are available to us, having some way to understand how we can put these chords together in a way that expresses different feelings. So these are kind of the double challenges that I'd like to help you with. And I think I'm going to do this in two separate videos because I want to make sure that everyone is on the same page on phase one before we move on to phase two. So today is the phase one video. Today I'd like to share with you how you can figure out which different chords are available to you in any given key signature. To make things easy, I am going to use the key of C major as our example. That is the easiest key signature to work with because it has no sharps or flats. If you would like support in figuring out these chords in different key signatures, then feel free to leave a comment below and I can address those questions in a future video. But for today, we'll just focus on the key of C major and we will talk about what chords are available to you if you wanted to write a song in a major key. That's the happy sounding key. Once this is posted, I will give it a couple of days for everybody's questions to come in and make sure we're all on the same page. And then I will come in with part two, where I will talk about musicality. And I will talk about principles of music theory that you can use to help you make decisions about which chords you want to put together and in which order. So if that sounds good to you, then let's get started. All the chords that could possibly be used in a song are made up of triads from within that song's key signature. We can figure out what those chords are by writing triads out along each of the steps or degrees of the key signature scale. Songs that are written in a major key predominantly sound happy. That's because the songs that are written in a major key predominantly use major chords in the song. This can lead a lot of people to think that the major key signature is primarily made up of major chords, but that actually isn't the case. In any given major key signature, there are only 3 major chords. Those are the chords built up on the 1st, 4th, and 5th steps or degrees of the scale. To help you see these chords more easily, I'm going to label them. When we are labeling major chords, we always use Roman numerals, and we always use capital Roman numerals to indicate that these are major chords. If you're wondering why I drew 4 chords instead of 3, that's because the C chord is repeated at the bottom and again at the top. Even though they will sound a little different, this C chord will be higher sounding than this C chord down here. They are still built on the same degree of the scale. They are still built on the first note of the scale, which is C. As a result, they are the same type of chord, even if they don't sound exactly the same. So as you can see, these three types of chords are doing a lot of heavy lifting in our major key songs. They are holding down all the happy feelings of our music when we can see that there are actually more non-major chords than major chords within a key signature. What this means for you is that if you want to write a happy song, you are going to be relying on the 1-4-5 chords a lot. You will be relying on the 1-4-5 chords a lot more than you will be relying on the other types of chords. So if you are just getting started on this, the first thing that I would recommend doing for any key signature is figuring out what your 1, 4, and 5 chords are and to practice moving back and forth between them. Listen to the sounds that they make. See if you get inspired by hearing any of these chords in different sequences. If you'd like to try these chords out in more of a song style, but you don't actually know how to play piano yet, I will link below to a video that I created called My Favorite Rhythm Pattern for Piano Beginners. In that video, I give you a rhythm pattern. It gives you something to do with your hands when you're at the piano, where all you have to do is substitute the chords that you want to try with this rhythm pattern. Then you can practice playing these chords back and forth in a way that actually sounds like music. So what's going on with the rest of these chords? Well, in a happy coincidence, to balance out the three major chords that we have in a major key signature, we also have three minor chords. Those are the sad sounding ones. The minor chords are found on steps 2, 3, and 6 of the major key signature, and we label those with a lowercase Roman numeral. If you were to look closely at most music that's written in a major key, you'll find that minor chords are used just less often than major chords. Minor chords bring a little bit of emotional complexity to the music. They provide a little bit of tension that gets resolved when we go back to our happy sounding major chords. If we didn't use any minor chords in a song, we would end up with a piece of music that just sounded eternally optimistic. Take a song like You Are My Sunshine. That is a song that only uses major chords. There are no minor chords in that song. The song is very bright, it's very pretty, but if we look closely at it, it's kind of emotionally one-dimensional. There's no tension in it whatsoever. It's only happy. Compare that with another love song, I Want to Hold Your Hand by the Beatles. This song is also written in a major key, but it uses some minor chords as well. Those minor chords help to express some of the emotional tension that comes with love. And that tension ends up being resolved with major chords by the end of the song. So knowing all this, I guess the first thing I would encourage you to think about when writing your own music is what kind of feelings you want to convey in your song. If you want your song to feel eternally optimistic, you'll probably want to stick within the 1-4-5 chords. But if there's room for pining or disappointment in your song, you might want to explore some of the minor chords as well and see if they feel right. We just have to be careful not to overdo it with minor chords in a song that's ultimately meant to be happy. Minor chords are really supposed to just be a seasoning, not the full flavor. And the longer we linger on minor chords in our song, the more negative the pull is for our listener. So in a song that's ultimately supposed to be in a major key and sounding happy, we want to try to skew the balance towards leaning more on major chords than minor chords. So I think this is a good place for us to stop. I have more that I'd like to share on building chord progressions, but I just want to make sure that everyone is on the same page. So if you're watching this and you understand everything that I've said so far, I'd appreciate it if you could leave me a comment and let me know that you're ready for the next video. If you have any questions about anything that I've said so far, please leave your questions in the comments and I will do my best to address them before we move on. Until next time, maybe you could think about what kind of song you would like to write. You don't have to plan anything yet, but even just decide what kind of feelings would you like to convey in this song of yours. Start to get some ideas of what you would like to accomplish or achieve with your song emotionally. Will your song be eternally happy? Is there room for emotional tension and complexity in your song? In my future videos, I would like to help you translate those feelings into chord progressions, but it really does help to have an idea ahead of time of what kinds of feelings you want to convey. So I encourage you to think about that. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I look forward to your comments. Bye now.